It's Tuesday, March 26, 2024, folks, and we are going to run up a session. Yesterday, we get it dropped. Well, last night, I guess, right? Last night, we get it dropped. The official brief from the SEC where they are demanding $2 billion from Ripple. $800 million in disgorgement, almost $200 million in interest, and then another $800 million in a civil penalty to set an example in their own words. I'm going to show you guys. This is straight out of the document, folks. Full update on the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And we have found the bug. We have found the discrepancy. Whatever you want to call it, we have found the fix. And it has been now implemented, or at least brought up for a proposal here. I guess it has to be voted on as an amendment. And so this process is going to take at least a few weeks, but we're already having validators signal that they're going to be looking to approve this thing as soon as it gets brought live. So, folks, this moment in time is truly incredible. We have such a clear path ahead of us. It is looking so bright out here for the future of the XRP community and for Ripple. And for everybody else, for that matter, who's tapped in and going to take advantage of this opportunity. Meanwhile, around us, we're seeing an incredible situation, right? This is typical of blow-off top rallies. They've completely inverted our reality, though, much past the markets. And today we saw the next event, and we've been warning. You don't know what the black swan's going to be. We just need to be prepared. You basically prepare the same way, no matter what the black swan scenario is going to be, right? Whether the power goes out, the system goes down, a bridge gets hit by a ship. Truly unbelievable. Like we've been saying, you don't have to worry. You don't have to predict it exactly spot on as far as what the black swan's going to be. You just need to be prepared for yourself, your family, and we roll this on into our business and our investments as well. That's how we put our full thesis together. And you got a lot of folks that want to just debate technical nuance, get lost in the sauce, and not get anything done, not take any action. Still debate the XRPs as security, believe it or not. There's still people that want to make that argument. It's truly ridiculous out here, but we just continue to step up every single day. We got the truth on our side, and just like Digital Asset Investor said, and is now ingrained in the evidence of the SEC's submission just this morning, last night, we are the good guys and we are going to win. The good guys and the gals are going to win, right? And you got Mr. I, you got DAI, you got John Deaton, Mr. Brad Kimes, right? The whole XRP army there, it basically immortalized there in the SEC's brief that they filed. Truly incredible. I'll show you guys more on that later, guys. But let's get right on into today's update, because the market has moved back up to 70,000 for Bitcoin. Crypto space is still incredibly bullish. We see issues. Today, KuCoin gets sued. We're going to go through all of it, but you're seeing things happen here. You're seeing things are breaking, but please remember how quickly we think that the V-shaped recovery is going to be. We don't care to decode everything down to the T so we know exactly what the black swan's going to be. We make the same investments regardless. And so you're starting to see it play out. We've been warning about these Tether stable coins and others, right, that are getting printed by these exchanges. The manipulation is still very heavy. And so KuCoin, an exchange that I've had my own issues with, right? I've made plenty of money on KuCoin, shorting the hell out of Bitcoin. It's been an absolute pleasure. But then at a certain point, I had to get my money off of KuCoin. I had to take my money and run. You got to know when to leave the casino. And thankfully, KuCoin was just saying, hey, you're no longer going to be served by us. And thankfully, I rolled all my tethers into XRP and I was able to hit the exits, and we were able to just cash out a boatload of XRP exclusively shorting Bitcoin on the KuCoin platform. Very thankful for the KuCoin platform. But now we see that they've been sued for bank secrecy acts, and now they're coming down on them. And this CFTC filing actually is who's involved here. And they're coming out and saying that Ethereum and Litecoin are commodities, claiming jurisdiction. So now the turf war is here for all of us to see. And remember, we're battling this thing out in the courts. This is why I stand behind our lawyers, by John Deaton, right? God bless him. God bless all the lawyers here on the front lines on the legal battlefield. I stand humbly behind, ready to take my marching orders, right? Do I have any sponsors? Am I a shill of anything? No, I'm only a shill for the truth and standing up for what's right and trying to save my country, which is America. And you guys better be putting up a fight in your country as well. If you're outside the United States, let me know in the comments down below. God bless the international audience that we have that is fighting to save humanity, willing to put up a fight, willing to put together a red folder. Of course, we're putting together a red folder. The damages are massive. You know, it's funny because there's actually no damages done to the institutional investors that are now being protected by the SEC. And the SEC even admits that. But just because, you know, Ripple didn't file, right? They got to pay $800 million in disgorgement. And because they've made so much money and they're such a good position, we need to set an example. And we need him with a civil penalty as well. You want to talk about civil penalties? Oh, really? Oh boy, we would love to talk about civil penalties. I got my red folder. This is the damages done to the XRP community, all part of saving this country. Much bigger than XRP, much bigger than crypto. It's about saving our country. What's the green folder for? Ethereum. Still thin because I haven't printed out too much yet because of the cost of freaking printer paper. I got my printer paper right here. I just had to pick up some more printer paper so I can print out this most recent filing from the SEC. It's something about being able to print it out, get the pink highlighter, and highlight out those important sections. And really, this is a moment in history that I'm so happy to be a part of. My father served in the military. My grandfather fought in Vietnam as a Marine. And then my great-grandfather was in the Army in World War II. Okay, so I come from a lineage of fighting for this country. Now, I have some heart issues, so they won't even accept me in the military. Well, maybe they're so desperate now in the military that they probably would take me, even with my heart conditions that I do have. But basically, yeah, I have it in my blood to fight for my family, to fight for my country. My current role here is to hop on here on a daily basis and to let the masses know that we are winning. We need to continue applying pressure. The facts and the truth is on our side. Our timeline has never been in dispute. And you can argue our mass, you can debate how big the damages are, but we know they're into the tens of billions. I just saw another post before I hopped on here tonight. Somebody saying he tagged John Deaton and others and said he wants to file a class action lawsuit or something against the SEC for $15 billion. And to me, you know, that's a good start. I've taken the math on conservative assumptions. I believe that you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars worth of damages. What is ETHgate about? Everybody asks the question. I don't get what ETHgate's about. Well, the first part's the damages done to the XRP community, and my mass, my conservative assumptions, take it to $500 billion. Not Billy, Trilly with a T. Talk about getting silly. The damages are massive. Okay? 500 billion is the conservative price that we would have gone to if XRP would have been able to just participate in the last bull run. That's not including what Ripple's had to pay in legal fees. That's not including everybody else who's been damaged and, you know, suffered from the SEC's actions, which have now been proven in a U.S. court of law that they were wrong. Please remember, if XRP was a security, Ripple would have to register their programmatic sales as well. But not only did Judge Torres say that those programmatic sales were not a security, when the SEC tried to file for interlocutory appeal, she struck that down as well. So the SEC tried twice, failed on both times. Interlocutory appeal completely smacked down. So we know, until Congress does pass law, it is true, we do not have clarity. What do we have clarity on? That XRP's not a security. It does not embody an investment contract in it of itself. But just like anything, you can put it into an investment contract. This is nothing complex. We don't need to confuse the facts. And when we do get to the truth, how big are the damages? How big are they? 15 billion? Well, that's about the market cap. Well, you could actually go look. XRP had over $100 billion market cap. When it went to $3.30, the historical snapshot on January 7, 2018 that I've shown so many times, when we surpassed Ethereum. Go figure. Before the ETH free pass. So the first part of the lawsuit is the damage is done. Is it 10 billion, 15 billion, 100 billion, or a trillion? Well, let's figure it out. And you see what the SEC's doing, a little art of the deal. This is the same thing that we were doing in the buyback conversations, which wasn't about a buyback. It was about our defense. It was about an insurance policy, and it's about saving our country. Either you're going to get on board or you're going to, be confused about putting together a legal defense to protect your assets. So first part, damage is done to the XRP community. Second part's the profit that they made, which according to Steven Narioff is we're talking hundreds of billions and maybe even a trillion. He said that word that starts with a T. And me and Jimmy Valley in the interview, boy, did we both light up. Because what have we been saying? What have we been filling up? That red folder. Now we got the green folder. Steven Narioff, the Ethereum whistleblower, vindicating us on all of our crazy, wild conspiracy theory claims. Wow. So how big are the damages? Who does want to head up this lawsuit? John's in a unique position. I suggest, personally, my opinion is that John needs to focus on defeating Elizabeth Warren. Despite the fact, he probably has time. Maybe he does have time to take on both battles. Maybe he will play a part. Of course he will. Of course he will. As far as who's going to sue, we've already seen that Fred Rispoli already sued Jay Clayton. Fred Rispoli, he pulled that one back, but now he's suing Coinbase for our Songbird. Appreciate the fact that he's doing that. But we also have John Deaton, who, represented 75,000 plus XRP holders with the amicus curiae. So we got a real battle on our hands. And it's close to being over, in my opinion, as far as the XRP Ripple story. Now, is the battle over after that? Battle has taken place. Is the war over? No. This war is far from over. This war is far from over. And we need to stay in the game. We got to continue applying pressure even after the victory that we've achieved so far. Hopefully, we'll see Ripple achieve a great victory and that, Judge Torres will be reasonable, which is what I expect her to be reasonable when she hands down a fine of, 10 million, 20 million. You guys made a lot of money. You should have registered. The way these were structured was an investment contract. None of the investors were hurt. I mean, even Jeremy Hogan himself said that they have a good reason to say that there should be no fine. The only thing that the SEC can say is that Ripple was giving better deals to institutions. They were giving better deals to some institutional investors than others. Did anybody lose money? No. It's just that Ripple wasn't disclosing that they were giving a better discount to one institutional investor versus others. And by the way, this is how crypto works. You give incentives to exchanges to get listed. You give incentives to people that buy more of a product. There's a difference between retail and wholesale price. This is common business, and anybody who's an adult in the room understands that. Now, what are the XRP FUDsters doing? They're working overtime to try to spin up this negative narrative. It's all positive. Ripple's business is thriving. That's why they want to make an example. They want to try to taint the XRP community like we're just posting memes on here on Twitter. No, the reason why they're so scared of us is because we're not just posting memes on Twitter. We got our red folders. We got cases that are being filed. We got gentlemen, patriots like John Deaton that are running for senator to dethrone these elitists that have sold out this country. So they're trying to discredit not just Ripple and say that Ripple's been belligerent and hasn't acknowledged any of their wrongdoings, right? They're trying to go after the XRP community as well. Like we're just the cult following that follows by. No. Brad Garlinghouse came and he thanked the XRP army first. After the ruling from Judge Torres, he came to a Twitter space with the XRP community because they lead the industry in transparency. When there's a bug, a little issue that's found, they come on a Twitter space like they did a couple days ago with David Schwartz and Jazzy Cooper. Unlike Apple, which has a massive hack, massive breach, and they're nowhere to be found. They make no public statement. They say nothing. Meanwhile, we have not only industry leading transparency in the digital asset space, which isn't easy, which isn't hard to do because most of the space is, anonymous, hides behind and doesn't disclose anything. So it's not really that big of a deal to be the most transparent in the digital asset space. I would say that. But Ripple's actually setting a standard of transparency and standing up for what's right in the entire business economy here in the United States. As an American business, while we're watching the banks literally settle up. It was just another settlement a few days ago. What was that, 60, 70 million? It's a little slap on the wrist for JP Morgan, Bank of America, and the gang, 6 other big banking entities. See, they get a slap on the wrist, but the SEC wants to go kill Ripple. Make an example out of them. We don't want to make an example out of our buddies. I mean, look at what's coming out with P. Diddy. Diddy did a little deal. I'll tell you what, Diddy's deal isn't one that you want to take, as we're starting to find out. And we were called crazy for all of this. Remember when they called us conspiracy theorists? You bet we have a theory about a conspiracy that we've proven as fact. And we've taken and we've calculated the damages. It's absolutely massive. So if you want to save this country, then come join the party, come join the battle. It's not going to be easy. Never said it was going to be. But we will be rewarded. And we are having major victories. And I'm going to tell you right now that I think that XRP is about to do something similar to what it did back in the 2017-2018 bull run, where it surprises everybody. Folks, if you haven't already, please make sure that you like this video, share it out far and wide. We are going to get this session started. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. This is going to be a massive session, and so I got a lot to get through. Please make sure that you like and share this video. We're going to start off here by taking a look at the charts. 70,500 for Bitcoin. I was predicting that it would get a rejection around 70,000. It did happen to extend up to about 71,500, but it's hanging out at about this 70,000 level. We'll continue to watch. 3,600 for Ethereum. Entire market back up today. 63 cents for XRP. This is on our daily chart right here, zoomed out on the daily. Okay. Giving us a little bit of perspective. Let's continue on, folks. So this is from Colin Rugg. There were no vehicles traveling on the Francis Scott Key Bridge when it fell into the ocean, thanks to the heroic police officers jumping into action. It has now been confirmed that the only people on the bridge when it collapsed was a pothole repair crew. A total of 8 workers were reportedly on a meal break when the cargo ship crashed into the bridge. The 8 workers plunged off the 185-foot bridge into the frigid water. 2 of the 8 workers were rescued. 1 has been hospitalized and 1 refused treatment. He brushed his clothes off and wanted to see his family. He was shaken up a little, but nothing major. I guess the good Lord was on his side, a first responder said. The 6 other workers are presumed dead. Folks, thoughts and prayers going out. Another event, and, this is the thing. When you get caught up in this, you don't have time to debate, was this an activated agent? Was this a false flag? Was this a deal? Was this a hack? Was this a what? Which country was it? It is going live. This is no longer a simulation. This is not a war game that they're playing out. They're playing it out in the real world now. And I'm not speaking directly on this event. I'm just saying, whether it's a weather event, whether it's this happening into a bridge, a train getting derailed, it's up to you to get your family prepared right now, folks. We don't know what they're going to hit us with next, and we've been warned about this. And it all goes back into our finances as well. Speaking of finances, after a surge in savings during the pandemic, in the immediate aftermath, higher prices and shifts in spending habits have compressed savings rates. As we've been reporting and warning about, American households are running out of savings right now. The liquidity is drying up as we speak. This is a debt, currency, and liquidity crisis that is accelerating. Real-world events and distractions will keep you out of the game, will keep you sidelined from the opportunities that are there, that have presented themselves, and it's up to us to take advantage. And I'm going to tell you right now, to reiterate what Jimmy Valley is saying in this next clip that I'm about to play for you guys, these VCs are cutthroat. These guys are laughing at the fact that the SEC is showing up to protect the institutional investors that bought XRP for half a penny. They are laughing all the way to the bank while they have done pre-allocation contracts with Ripple to acquire billions of XRP. They are laughing their way to the bank, or to the yacht in this case probably, as they have been loading up behind the scenes and they have been rigging this thing. Not only have they been moving on XRP, and there have been pre-allocation contracts, and there's been a ton of demand for XRP now proven by the documents that have been put out by the SEC. But they're also profiting off of ETH and the token factories that they themselves are creating. Digital Asset Investor clipped up this one from our new friend I just got to meet, James, and I was just on James' Crypto for Life show. Huge shout out to Jay. And then, of course, our good friend Jimmy Valley making the appearance, representing us so well once again. Quote, people do not realize how manipulated by the venture capital firms that the digital asset space has been. These VC firms are showing up at the very early innings of one of these firms starting, and they're giving them a lot of money, and they're getting an allocation of these tokens. 100%. Same thing that they're doing with all the influencers. They're going to the launch pad, they're getting tokens early, they're getting cash or they're getting tokens. But in most instances, these crypto projects are are absolutely broke. And so they need to print their tokens, and they're giving them early allocations. They are then turning their media assets on, as I was just saying, the influencers and whoever else, right? And then pumping the value of these things to oblivion, and then dumping on the people who are chasing the zeros and the green candles. Val Hill headquarters, huge shout out to Jimmy Valley with James, Crypto for Life. Love to see it. Love to see it. As I said and mentioned earlier, CFTC says Ethereum and Litecoin are commodities in KuCoin lawsuit. Okay. So I was just glancing at the comments there real quick. Please, you guys can continue dropping the comments down below. Make sure you guys like and share this video. Really do appreciate it. So as we highlighted here, this is the turf war that is now playing out for everyone to see with the CFTC in the KuCoin lawsuit, which is about bank secrecy acts, money laundering charges, right? They're going after, and they're saying they're going after KuCoin, but they're saying that Ethereum and Litecoin are commodities. So the turf war is now accelerating, and now we see House Ag GOP committee has written to Gary Gensler expressing concerns over Prometheum's plans to list ETH as a security. This is the House Committee on Agriculture, which is now penning another letter. How about a subpoena? Let's get something done. This action, if allowed to proceed, could have irreparable consequences for the digital asset markets. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And that's the deal right there, is that we just saw Prometheum, crypto asset securities. What's the first one that they list? Ethereum. Now, we're going to continue to watch this unfold. This is going to be very interesting. Until Congress comes in with clarity, we battle it out in the courts. It's just that simple. It had to be this way. Congress doesn't want to give us clarity, so we have to battle it out in the courts. It had to be this way. And remember, they came after us first. That's why we put up our defense. That's why we have our red folders. And that's why God bless John Deaton as a private citizen and as a candidate for U.S. Senate in Massachusetts. I'm calling for the resignation of Chairman Gary Gensler. Under Gensler, the SEC has forgotten or intentionally abandoned its primary mission in protecting innocent investors. Now, John Deaton went off on this. I would highly encourage you guys, obviously, if you're not following John Deaton, what are we doing? Make sure we're following John Deaton. But go check out this thread that he just dropped on his Twitter. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he really lays it out very well right here. A whole string with documents, with facts. And this is what we're talking about, folks, as far as applying pressure. And many people think that Elizabeth Warren can't be beat. I think that they're going to be mistaken. I think that John Deaton's going to at least give her a run for her money. And you can already tell, you can already see the panic in Warren camp. Elizabeth, I got a plan for that. Warren, she don't have a plan for John Deaton other than to, she's got to go beg her donors and her big bankster buddies to come in and do everything in their power to fight John Deaton, the as they want to call him, just another crypto bro. If he's just a little crypto bro, why are you so concerned? If it's just a little crazy crypto bro, what's the concern? What's the worry? But you've already seen Elizabeth Warren's camp in full panic mode. Now, folks, without further ado, let's get right on into it. SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. There's a lot of debate. We're still waiting. I don't know if Jeremy Hogan's going to drop a video update. We our trusted lawyers that we always go to, right? I'm hoping to bring some of these guys on here so that we can get those insights and get this breakdown. But this is now where we're in the final innings, the final stretch of this lawsuit, guys. It's coming together, and it's coming together nicely. I'm going to tell you right now that I read through that whole thing last night. very bullish on XRP and even more bullish on Ripple. Their business is thriving. In fact, that's part of the reason why the SEC is going after them so hard. Now, we have ongoing conversations, and this one shared here by Mikkel, but he's given credit to Kashta on Twitter. Okay. Someone explained to me how the SEC is going to get $2 billion. So what he's sharing right here is the Second Circuit limits the SEC's disgorgement capabilities. Decision to put remedy in question in wide range of cases. Now, what this is right here, folks, is essentially saying that if the investors were not harmed and didn't lose money, pecuniary harm is what the term is right here, pecuniary. Okay, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's the word. And I had to look up the definition last night, right? And it's monetary damages is what it is. Okay, it's a fancy way of saying, did you lose money? Okay. And in a case with potentially far-reaching implications for the SEC's enforcement program, the Second Circuit recently held that the SEC is not entitled to disgorgement unless it can show the allegedly defrauded investors suffered pecuniary harm. Well, let's be very clear. Nobody was defrauded. Nobody was defrauded, okay? Now, did Ripple provide a disclosure to all of their institutional investors on how much they were selling XRP to? And did they disclose, all their other deals? No, they're not entitled to. They're not entitled to have that information. Ripple is a private company, okay? That is not fraud. That is within their rights to do. I don't need to tell, every person that I do business with what I've sold these assets for, last week, last year, 4 years ago, a deal that I've done. It does not apply to the deal that I'm doing today. When I'm sitting across the table from you, I'm sitting across the table from you. We got a deal right in front of us. That's the deal. Take it or leave it. That's how business works. And if you're showing up like a consortium of banks like R3 did, then you get a $5 billion pre-allocation contract for half a penny for 3 years. One of the best deals that's ever been done. The only problem for R3 is that it didn't go all the way through because they didn't get enough banks onboarded, is my speculation and assumption, because the deal didn't go through and they ended up settling for 1 billion XRP. But this case right here, Commission versus Gobble, really changed things here recently, guys, where if you if you can't show where investors were actually harmed, where they lost money, you can't issue this, $800 million fine, right? If you can't show more than $800 million worth of damages, right? And you're talking about defrauding, okay? And people losing money, not people, these institutional investors didn't get as good of a deal as they should have got. These are institutional investors making deals. And did they make money? Yes, they all made money. So how could you potentially get a disgorgement from these ill-gotten gains? These were not ill-gotten gains. That's what disgorgement's all about. Disgorgement set in place where you issue a disgorgement fine to a company to bring them back to status quo. It basically means you cheated, you get hit, and you get back down to where you should be if you didn't have these ill-gotten gains. Well, these are not ill-gotten gains. These were all just deals that were done that both sides benefited from, both sides made money from, right? There was no damages done. What's funny about this is the only losses or damages that you would see from any one of these partners is the fact that they probably lost out on the fees that they were charging their clients to send payments to Mexico, to send payments to the, cross borders. That's the only money that was lost, was the profit for the banks, right? Because they weren't able to charge the fees now that they were able to offer their clients next to no fees, instant transactions using ODL. That's the only damages was done to the profits, the P&L, to these banks. But if they want to compete, this is the product that they need, which is why they've benefited and they've all profited. All these deals that were done from 2014 to 2020 that the SEC has won on, all those deals are in the profit essentially, unless any of these institutional investors bought above 60 cents, right? But this all comes back to, what are we here to do? Are we, and this is something that John Dean just mentioned in that last tweet where he's calling for the resignation of Gary Gensler. The mission is to protect the retail investors, not institutional, sophisticated investors. These are big boys and girls. And so this is why Jeremy Hogan, in this response, someone asked him about the $2 billion, and he says, let's wait until Ripple's brief. I think they have some strong arguments for pretty much zero. So as we're saying, right, if you can't show the harm, no foul, you're talking about a technicality that they should have registered those sales. What's a reasonable fine for that, right? A few $1,000,000? No harm was done. Everybody made money. Should any fine be issued? Who's being protected? Other than the SEC, and once again, if you want to issue, okay, say the fine's worth a few $1,000,000,000. Okay, whatever, sure. You're talking about an institution in the SEC that has lost all respect on the world stage. The whole world is now watching the SEC, wondering what the heck is going on. It's part of watching our country as a whole, wondering what the heck is going on in DC. This bureaucracy beast that we keep on talking about, right? This is an absolute joke. Now, I want to show you guys some of the tweets here. I dropped a video earlier today, but I shot it in my truck and I was kind of just reading off the tweets off my phone. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to show you guys that I wasn't just pulling this out of my, that this actually was real. This actually is what the SEC has used as evidence in their filing here. We got, I said right here, I see a future U.S. senator in the crowd. Folks, this is their evidence, right? Was this relationship between Brad and all of us. And good and damn well what they were doing here by including a future U.S. Senator John Deaton in this picture. You got Brad Garlinghouse, John Deaton, Digital Perspective, Brad Kimes, Mr. Intuitive, digital asset investor, and I wish I knew who this guy was. I wish I could give him a shout out too, but I don't know who that is. And then in this next tweet, you see that they got this legendary post. Are you kidding me? This is legendary. This is only going to garner more respect as the XRP community gets the light shine down on us on the truth that we stood up and we won against the SEC. It's laughable that they think that this is going to be used against us. Mr. Intuitive with Brad Garlinghouse and Mr. Intuitive have tweeted here, we're the good guys and we're going to win this thing. We're going to win this thing because we're the good guys. This is from Digital Asset Investor, right? And the SEC is trying to use this as evidence against us. This is going to backfire so hard on them. And as I was saying, they're trying to make an example out of Ripple. Quote, so as I was going through last night, it was about 10 o'clock at night, I'm going through here, reading these court documents, and as I found the good stuff, I was just copying and pasting it and giving my real lifetime reaction. And so this is a direct quote right here. The SEC asked the court to consider how easily actors, particularly in the crypto asset space, can today engage in the same sort of conduct as Ripple's and send a strong message that such abuses will not be tolerated. And I said, surprised they didn't call it the crypto security space. And so in their own words, send a strong message, right? They want to set an example. Unbelievable. They have no shame. Ripple's considerable wealth warrants a significant penalty that is not just a slap on the wrist or cost of doing business. We want to set an example. The disgorgement and an additional civil penalty totaling $2 billion. Why? Quote, because disgorgement represents merely a return of ill-gotten gains, as I was saying. An additional monetary penalty is necessary to appropriately punish and deter. $800 million in disgorgement. You guys didn't follow the rules, so we need to disgorge you of $800 million of ill-gotten gains and to deter you and punish you and set an example. And because you guys are, got such a good business model and you guys are so rich, making so much dang money, we need additional monetary penalty of another $800 million equal to it, plus we need $200 million interest. Quote, if Ripple had followed the law, prospective investors would have had this information they needed to determine whether Ripple was treating them worse and whether they could purchase the XRP at a better price. Oh, woe is the institutional investor that didn't get the best deal that they potentially could have. What a joke. Who gives a rat's you know what? The non-favored XRP institutional sales investors could have demanded and potentially paid lower prices than the prices they have paid. But Ripple never filed a registration statement, never provided investors a prospectus, never treated investors uniformly, and appears to have not uniformly disclosed the disparity prices and discounts offered to XRP institutional sales investors. Now, remember, this is where the FUDsters, they're working overtime right now to try to put the negative spin factor on this one and completely failing at doing that. And what they're trying to, bring up here once again is these discounts that Ripple was giving. And, here's the thing. I'm going to actually comment more on this later. Ripple's giving it away. They're offering incentives to, exchanges and to their partners to get adoption. They're getting XRP into the hands of folks that are going to use it for utility, into the hands of folks that are not necessarily going to be dumping it. Do some of them choose to dump it? Yes, the SEC did cite that in the evidence. I'll admit that. The SEC cited in their evidence a report, something that was circulating around Ripple, where they acknowledged that, one of their partners was dumping XRP and it was having a negative impact on price. Of course. But if Ripple wants to be able to sell these in a way where they can't, dump the XRP, well, then they create an investment contract, right? Which the SEC would just simply say, well, that's why they need to be coming in and, locking this thing up. You can't have it both ways, right? If Ripple needs to, come in and register these sales, then they need to be able to do so. They tried to approach you. They came to your offices. I'm sure they showed you, and everybody knew the business model. Everybody knows that this is how this works. And guys, this is not FUD. This is not anything, bad. This is not bad business practice. This is not, the XRP community being shorted. This is what we want. This is what I want. Yes, go give a deal to R3. Go give a deal to other banks. Go give a deal to anybody that's going to use the XRP for utility. Go do grants. Go give money to universities. This is why Ripple, we've been saying they're a respectable and responsible custodian of the reserve currency of the new financial system. This is what I've been saying this whole time. They're treating XRP like a reserve currency, and we got a bunch of other people that don't treat XRP like a reserve currency, but they're yet demanding that Ripple needs to give them some XRP for their business idea that's not proven, that's not successful, that they don't have any customers for, but they have an idea and they deserve a handout from Ripple. This is the absurdity. And we're seeing builders, some of them just couldn't make it through the bear market. Some of them are just early. They're building metaverses 10 years before the metaverse is going to become a real thing that a lot of people are actually doing before adoption actually arrives. It's not a surprise that your metaverse is not, that maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be. Metaverses across the board are not popular, but yet Ripple's supposed to be handing you out billions and millions of dollars in XRP. And so we're starting to see all of these narratives that they try to spin as FUD. We've just been highlighting very simply how this is Ripple being responsible custodians of XRP and trying to get it into the hands of people that are using it for utility. We don't want Ripple to have all the XRP. Do we want them to just give it all away with no stopping anybody from just dumping that XRP, which is exactly what they were doing when they were doing all the giveaways? All these quote unquote builders. I guess I'm gonna do an NFT project, and then I'm going to start begging Ripple for $1 billion handout or whatever, this, and not $1 billion handout, but you get my point, right? These guys call themselves builders when they create an NFT project. You're not a builder. I mean, come on, let's get real. There's a difference between building something real and you made 10,000, you printed 10,000 digital pictures. Is that being a builder, really? And I'm not hating on NFT projects. I'm just saying, let's get real with it. And everybody wants to blame Ripple. They want to blame Brad and Chris for selling XRP as to why their business is not successful. No, your business should be successful without a handout. A handout should only put fuel onto the fire of what you got cooking. Now, continuing on here, folks, there was a couple more points that I wanted to share with you guys right here. This is where the pre-allocation contracts have been confirmed. Remember, this is all stuff that we were called crazy for talking about. Pre-allocation contracts. The Twitter police wanted to lock us up in jail for talking about pre-allocation contracts. And now, through the SEC's own submission of their evidence and their own filing here today, we now can confirm it. For the second component, Ripple received $265 million in proceeds from 4 different institutional buyers after the filing of the complaint, pursuant to unregistered XRP institutional sales contracts Ripple entered into before the complaint was filed, i.e., Ripple received $200 million after the lawsuit as part of a pre-allocation contract that was already done before the lawsuit. A sale occurs under the Securities Act when the parties are bound to deliver the securities, even if performance occurs at a later date, i.e. pre-allocation contract. Okay. And this is just 4 institutions for $200 million worth. What do you think? What else do you think was going on? Okay. Now, is this the end of it? No, this is not the end of it at all. I'm going to show you guys this one right here. Quote, Ripple was forced to disclose that it has entered into more than 80 institutional sales contracts since the filing of this lawsuit. Who said there wasn't demand for XRP? Who said that again? Who said there's no demand for XRP? Oh, no banks are using XRP. Okay. Money remittance companies, right? Money transmitter companies, right? Payments companies, right? And we do have consortium of banks at R3. You know, these are institutions. Are they technically banks? Well, you know, there's a lot of deals that have happened behind the scenes. Clearly, 1,700 contracts. They've had to disclose 80 other institutional buyers that came in after the lawsuit. This is just after 2020. So despite the fact that this lawsuit was going on, there was still 80 institutions that wanted to show up and get a deal done. Who said there wasn't demand for XRP? All these guys that are criticizing Ripple? Ripple's dumping on us. No, they're not. They're selling XRP to institutional clients exclusively. They stopped the programmatic sales in Q3 of 2019. We've cut through all of these FUD narratives. These guys have completely failed. And now we get to use the SEC's own evidence, their own filing. We get to use in our defense of proving our facts that we've been laying out here for years. We were called crazy. We were called conspiracy theorists. Now it's all come out. I see Peaky showed up tonight. XR Peaky Blinder with a massive 50 spot, making it rain tonight. This is a battle we are being ushered into. Zach has his thumb on the pulse, and so do many of you in the chat. This is a time many of us saw coming. Keep your head high and your truth in check. When the wind blows hard, we bend. We don't break. Amen, and God bless it, XR Peaky Blinder. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, my friend. So well said. We are not going to be giving up. Even after the victory that we achieve in this battle, the war is not over. And that's why they're so scared about us. And guess what happens when we start to become financially free? Guess what happens when XRP gets set free? Not only do we already have a fire cooking, it's about to get a whole lot hotter. Okay. And the problem is that when you become, self-sufficient, financially free, you get a business going for yourself, or you just make a good income for yourself and you can actually feed your family, and you actually got a purpose in your life. You create a little bit of abundance, and you start to free up a little bit of time. You start to free up a little bit of mental capacity to start to think critically, start to think for yourself, and then you get to go on the attack. This is what they don't want. We are directly over the target. We are having massive victories, and the momentum behind our community couldn't be bigger. Despite the lawsuit, despite everything that they've put at us, we have not stopped. Now check this out, folks. This is the SEC saying that despite the fact that the post-complaint sales might not be investment contracts, we still need to come in and absolutely decimate Ripple, because Ripple may argue that there is no finding that its post-complaint sales violated the law. But all that matters, though, is that Ripple's status and business activities have not changed such that it is in a position where more violations are possible. So because there's a possibility that Ripple could sell XRP in an investment contract once again, right, we need to issue an injunction. That's what they're arguing for. This is the reason why they want to issue an injunction. They say that no finding of actual post-complaint violations is required. So even though post-complaint sales were structured in a way that they are not investment contracts, that does not matter. Injunctions should be placed on them regardless. The SEC is absolutely getting desperate. We have them back. And as I said right here, the SEC is just getting salty. You could hear the saltiness and the jealousy and the envy in their voices reading that filing. SEC going for all the money, as I stated, $876 million in disgorgement, $198 in interest, and then we have another $876 million in a civil penalty. We are waiting for Judge Torres' ruling, and in my opinion, it's going to be a slap on the wrist, as it should be. Hey, you broke a rule. It's not a big one. No one was hurt. Give us $5 million. We know you got it, and I could hit you for more, but this is the cost of doing business. $5 million, $50 million. Even if it's $500 million, even if it is the full $2 billion, not a problem, because we know what Ripple's got, and we know what's going to happen to XRP after we get out into the clear. Not only does Ripple have a bag of cash, billions, they are sitting on over 45 billion still. Well, actually, it's about 40 billion in escrow, and additional probably $5+ billion that's sitting outside the escrow as well. So we know that their bag of XRP current prices is, over 20, 30 billion. What happens when XRP gets set free? You thought XRP was allowed to breathe back when, Ripple turned off the bots on the programmatic sales, and they let XRP breathe back in 2017 into 2018 when it went from mere pennies to $3. You thought XRP got to breathe then? Just wait till XRP gets set free now. Now remember, there is no ability for Ripple to let it breathe now because they are not doing programmatic sales. So don't be asking Ripple to let it breathe now. They're not doing programmatic sales. So if they have an ability to let XRP breathe in another form or fashion, i.e., finally starting to disclose some of these partnerships, these institutions finally having clarity on how to actually buy XRP from Ripple and not have to worry about it, that might be setting us a little bit free, I would say, right? This is when XRP is going to be moving, and I think that it's going to be coming in here sooner rather than later because we are so close, and you're already starting to see the anticipation building for this case to come to a conclusion. All coinciding during what is set to be a massive bull run for the entire cryptocurrency space. And folks still want to say that XRP is going to miss this bull run. Why would it miss this bull run when now it's listed on all of the major exchanges? We have all the future platforms, and now we're going to have full clarity on how we can use XRP and how Ripple can sell XRP to institutions. And institutions in the United States that have been waiting to use XRP for a competitive advantage will be allowed to do so. And we do know that there are some, including Bank of America and others, including partnerships in Europe that have been waiting for regulations that are now going live this year as well. This is it, folks. And there's some builders that haven't been able to make it. As I was saying, there's some builders that haven't been able to make it this bear market. And so we have another builder who's leaving, they say the end of an era. DevNo Productions. I'd never heard of them before today. Now, some people are saying that they were a major contributor. I think that fact is debatable, but after reading their article, I can just, see very clearly that their business model didn't work. And that happens. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. That's just facts. That's okay. It's okay to start a business, to have an idea, to try for something, and, ultimately have to fail and turn the key. 9 out of 10 businesses do it. But to come on, and now they are blaming Ripple. They're blaming the executives at Ripple, including Brad and Chris, for selling XRP. And they also, which I found very interesting, were actually blaming the XRP Ledger Foundation. Now, this is the first time that I've actually heard someone kind of point the crosshairs on the XRP Ledger Foundation. I don't know if it's warranted. But, once again, we're willing to call out any of the BS. but we also got to call out their BS on the fact that their business model failed. And you don't get to go around and blame Ripple, Brad, and the XRP Ledger Foundation for why your business failed. The idea is to make yourself self-sufficient, to not have to rely on handouts, which you got. And this is why I'm so pissed off about this whole topic, guys, is because these builders failed and they want to blame Ripple. They want to blame Brad. They want to blame the foundation. If I can't please wifey, I don't get to go blame Ripple. I saw Mikkel put out a tweet. It was pretty funny. He said, next time his girlfriend's mad at him, he's going to tell her that it was Ripple's fault. I was thinking, that's a great idea. I'll try that. I'll let you guys know how that one works. When I can't please wifey, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to blame Rip. I'm going to tell her, honey, it was Ripple's fault. It was Brad Garlinghouse's fault. They haven't let XRP breathe. If XRP breathed, maybe I'd be able to perform a little bit better. These guys are a joke. It's completely immature and it's ridiculous. And we have to call it out. I'm willing to play nice. I invite every builder who's bringing real utility onto the XRP Ledger onto my show for free. You don't have to pay me to shill none of it. I'm not going to shill it. I'm going to give you an opportunity to shine the light down using my platform to empower these builders. But I have no sympathy for the whining and the crying and the, oh, woe is me. I wish, if I just had a couple more handouts, I would have been able to make it. Well, this is life. This is business. And if you weren't able to make it happen, you weren't able to make it happen. Don't be telling wifey that it's somebody else. Step up, man up. Get it done. I shouldn't be using that as an example, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And once again, David Schwartz comes in with logic and facts. Listen up. He says it's nearly impossible to avoid selling if you want to hold. Now, he put this out a few years ago where he explained how essentially, because of the tax burden that you have, right, when you receive these assets and, he talks about the marginal tax rate and he goes through this whole ordeal where he basically explains, right, that people complain, right? There's nothing you can do. People complain distribution is too concentrated, and then they complain too much is being distributed. There just aren't a lot of other options. And someone suggested to put them into the AMM pool. The problem with that is that when you put, XRP, if you do a single-sided deposit, you are actually selling half that bag of XRP. He says that effectively sells half the XRP because there has to be some other asset on the other side of the pool. It would likely also be a taxable transaction for Ripple, so likely more like a 60% sale. Now, this is the thing though, that I the potential that I see for Ripple, partnering up with their on-demand liquidity partners and other institutional partners and other issuers to where they can, exchange XRP for their asset, and then they would be able to help fund a pool, right? Basically partnering up with their institutional partners to fund these AMM pools. This is a way for them to put their XRP to work. Now, are they, selling XRP for the issued asset? Let's use the example of Circle issuing USDC, right? They're going to go to Circle and they're going to have them, basically Ripple's going to sell XRP for USDC issued by Circle, and then they're going to add it to the pool. Or basically Circle adds the USDC to the pool and Ripple adds XRP to the pool. They're both single-sided deposits that then get split into half. I don't know what the best model is going to be. David Schwartz and the geniuses that they have over at Ripple can figure out what the best model is going to be, but this is where this goes, folks. And folks complaining about Brad and them selling, they earn that. They built this. I mean, they are moving the needle in a major way. And for builders who, and not just builders, but critics and haters and fudsters who want to criticize Brad and say that he doesn't deserve to make all that money. They have no idea how much revenue Brad has generated for Ripple. They have why do you think that they're sitting on billions? Why do you think they're in a position to go acquire Medico? Why do you think that they continue to grow in the midst of a lawsuit where they've spent $200 million of their own money to go fight the SEC and on our behalf as well? How do you think they've been in this position? Because they got big hitters that are getting big deals done. Brad Garlinghouse is not a joke. So, from the outside looking in, who is in a position to say that Brad Garlinghouse doesn't deserve the compensation that he has received? And if XRP was just at a couple bucks, none of these conversations would even be happening. If XRP would have been able to, go, the whole reason why this is even an issue is because the frustration, the tension, and all this. And so these guys want to spin and they spin up these narratives, and they hit a trigger point for many people that have been damaged by the SEC, have been hurt. And so then they start to spread this fear throughout the community, and they start to question, instead of realizing, right, that Ripple's been doing really the best option that they have, distributing XRP into the hands of folks that are going to use it for utility. And now with the AMM, this is the perfect place for them to start to go store some. Who cares if we take a temporary hit when Ripple adds that XRP to the AMM, we take a temporary hit because half that XRP is being sold, but the liquidity pools get funded. The liquidity pools get built up, and then they get sustained. And then we have one of the best sources of liquidity in the world on the XRP ledger. That's where this goes. And if you actually take the time, instead of just, rushing to spread FUD narratives, if you actually took the time to go look, you would see that the inflation rate of XRP is actually way less than all of the other major chains. And if you actually read the court documents, and if you understood the role of the bots and the relationships with the market makers that Ripple had established, Ripple was trying to have the least amount of impact on prices possible. That's why they had those relationships. They didn't want to dump the price. They didn't want to make the price go crazy. They wanted it to be stabilized. The main objective for Ripple is to keep XRP price stable while they distribute XRP. And when we go look at it, someone who actually took the time to do it, XRPL Adam, huge shout out. He says, I've seen a lot of discussion around Ripple and XRP supply inflation. So being the data-driven person that I am, I wanted to know the truth. Fact. XRP supply inflation has been consistently 4 to 8% year over year since 2017. I'm sharing data of the top coin supply inflation rates year over year since March 26, 2017. XRP's inflation is lower than many top coins such as Solana, Algorand, DOT, Polkadot, HBAR, Matic, and the list goes on. All data publicly available. Enjoy. And so when you actually get to the data, when you actually go check the facts, these are the facts that absolutely destroy the FUD. And this is why we have no tolerance for that crap, right? Because when you actually go, and this is why I started making content over 3 years ago, when we started on TikTok, is because I only saw disinformation and shilling on TikTok. In 2021, that's when I got started, and my whole mission was to cut through all the lies, misinformation, and disinformation that were being spread about XRP on the TikTok platform. Here we are 3 years later, over 400,000 people in our community. We're approaching 500,000 here soon. We'll be at 500,000 in our community that we're helping to get tapped into the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And we're not getting lost in the technical nuance. We're not getting lost in meaningless debates. We're not getting lost. We are taking advantage of these opportunities that we have here, being tied up in a lawsuit and suppressed for years. The bags have grown. The businesses have grown. The cash flow has grown. We spend time with our families. We live a life of meaning and purpose. And the vibes are incredible over here. Meanwhile, they are relentless and they will not stop, despite the fact that we have the facts and the victories are being achieved. They're working overtime to try to spin this negatively. Same thing taking place with the AMM bug. Let's cut through the nonsense. Ripple already stepped up along with about, I think, a handful of other developers. This was not just Ripple that found the fix. It was Ripple, I believe, that found this discrepancy, but they worked with Orchestra Finance and a few of the other validators to actually implement this fix. And so they say the AMM bug fix is open for review on GitHub and will be in the 2.11 release of Ripple D. Okay. We will also publish a blog post tomorrow with more info about what happened and the next steps. You have to understand, many people wanted to criticize, but the thing about this is you can't just come out and say what the leak was while there's still a vulnerability, okay? I see another 50 spot just came through from Peaky. Here's a thought. It's okay to win. It's also okay to lose. Do we not understand that we are on a trajectory that has already been laid out? If you know you've won, what are you doing to prove it? And that's the thing, right? That's the thing, is at a certain point, you just got to keep moving the thing forward. You got to keep the deals coming and going. And that's what I spend most of my time doing. 99% of my time is spent in the deal flow, getting a deal done, not just talking about it, not just making little TikToks, even though I do like making my TikToks and I do like making my content. A lot of people think that, you know, they say, oh, you know, us YouTubers are just sitting here in our pajamas making videos. Not this YouTuber. Much more than a YouTuber over here. But like you said, Peaky, we got too much deal flow to spend time debating this nonsense with these guys. That's just the facts. We got too much deal flow happening over here. Now, I appreciate the super chat, brother. I appreciate everyone who has liked this video, and I really appreciate those of you guys that share it out far and wide. This is the actual document right here. This is it. Filed late last night. It went public. George Tenriro, the head of the main lawyer for the SEC. This is it. Okay. Now, there's about 32 pages, and that's why I had to go get more printer paper today, is because I'm just going to print out those 32 pages. I'm not going to print out the pages and pages of Twitter posts that the SEC used as evidence, but that's exactly what they did, is they tried to say that Ripple had no remorse for their actions. Ripple tried to claim a complete victory. They're bad guys. The XRP army is delusional. And I knew it was time to go to bed last night when I was scrolling down, and Exhibit 7, I think, is what it is. You guys can go look for yourself. There's a meme. Literally, you can't make this stuff up, folks. Like, there's all these Twitter posts, and they didn't just post Brad's tweet. They posted all the comments down below. And so there's like ads for like flip-flops and like sunglasses, and then there's just all these memes from the XRP community. There's a bunch of memes and GIFs with Leonardo, what's his name, DiCaprio, right? It's just ridiculous. But then the best one that I found was, it was from South Park. And I don't know the character from South Park, but he's got his big cojones in that wheelbarrow. And the meme says what it's like to be holding XRP for the last few years or something like that. And that is ingrained in history forever in the official SEC filing. You cannot make this stuff up. And how perfect, because that does embody the fact that we've been willing to stand up, put up a fight with Ripple leading the charge with their legal assassins. The legal assassins representing Ripple. They've been leading the charge over there, and then we got our general, John Deaton. And then we got our good friend, Jimmy Vallee, Jeremy Hogan, Fred Rispoli, all the other lawyers. Huge shout out to James Phelan, who's, you know, he dropped it last night on Twitter. We've been getting all the updates from James Phelan. This has been a community effort. So a huge shout out to all of you guys that are hearing my voice here tonight. I hope that you guys resonate with the vibe that we are putting out, because right now it is getting so heavy, so intense. And so we got to stay focused. He, she who gets focused first and stays focused longest will win most. And that is our objective. This is without a doubt the greatest transfer of wealth in world history as we usher in a fourth industrial revolution. Not only is it a historical moment in markets where we will see a historical correction, but then the growth that we are going to see from this fourth industrial revolution is going to be massive. And if you haven't picked up on it, they are trying to capture this opportunity through regulatory capture. That is the objective of the SEC, why they went after Ripple and XRP, because it was the biggest threat to the incumbents in the existing financial system. That's the exact saying, that's the exact quote that I said in my interview for the XRP Unleashed documentary that you guys saw in the trailer. I said they went after Ripple and XRP because it was the greatest threat to the incumbents in the existing financial system. That's exactly why. That's not crazy whack job conspiracy. It's now cited in the SEC's own filings how much money Ripple was making and how we need to hit Ripple hard and set an example. Because if Ripple can do it, then God forbid other people do it without giving us a piece of the action. God forbid they do it without doing it how Ethereum did, by making sure that all the white shoe law firms were getting paid, by making sure all the VCs were getting paid, by making sure that everybody got in on the action, right? You got to pay to play here. And this is what's so wrong with our capital markets. And so remember, we've been talking about this ETHgate. The first part is the damages done to the XRP community. It's massive. I think it's over $500 billion. Some people say it's only 10, 15 billion. Some people say there's no damages. We will figure that out. We will see if anybody ever files the case. But I'll tell you what, this red folder just keeps on getting bigger and better. And the evidence and the documents that are now coming forward through the testimony of Stephen Narioff and others, completely vindicating everything that we've been talking about. We can debate the math. We can debate the assumptions that we're going to make on the damages all day long. As you're seeing, the SEC taking right from our playbook. You start high with the negotiations. Is XRP fair market value 50,000 or 100,000? Well, I don't know. Let's let them prove it, and let's let them bring us back down to reality. But this is how you put up a defense. And just like we saw with the SEC, it's all the art of the deal. They're starting with 2 billion. They're making their case. I think that they're going to fail. I think that they are going to get smacked down by Judge Torres once again, and she will say, you guys need to chill on this. You get 5 million. You get 50 million, you get a little bag. Sure, Ripple did have some ill-gotten gains. Is that worth $2 billion? No one was hurt. No one was harmed. Everybody made money. Everybody willingly knew all facts that needed to be presented to them at that table. When they went to negotiate at that business table, Ripple did not owe the other side the complete facts and circumstances around the past deal that they just did. That was not owed to the institutional investor that was sitting across the table from them. That is absurd. And it's absurd because XRP in and of itself is not a security. So they don't need to disclose, right? The farmer can decide that he needs to raise prices tomorrow. He doesn't need to disclose to all of his buyers today that yesterday it was cheaper. He's selling commodities. He's selling corn. As long as he doesn't sell the corn in an investment contract, he's good. Now, if he sold an option on next year's corn yield, that's an investment contract. This is not, we don't need to overcomplicate this. We don't need to confuse the facts, guys. You don't need to be a legal expert. You don't need to be a lawyer. When you read these, they're actually laid out pretty simply. I mean, when you go back and you look at all the, case law and all that, then it gets a little bit more heavy, right? I thought it was actually a pretty simple reading last night. It was a good bedtime story. Didn't put me to sleep, though. It got me only more jacked up for the opportunity and what we find ourselves investing in right now. And I'll just say this in conclusion, guys. Let the light shine down on us. This is our moment where the light shines down on John Deaton, fighting for senator, fighting for our country, not just for the digital asset space, not just for XRP holders. He's fighting for our country now. Let the light shine down on John Deaton. Elizabeth Warren going to find out here very quickly that he's not just a crypto bro. He's a real patriot, and he's about to garner the attention of our entire nation as he fights to dethrone Elizabeth Warren. Rightfully so. Not only do we have the light shining down on John Deaton, now we have it shining down on Ripple. Their business is thriving. Even the SEC's admitting it. The SEC's using it as they beg Judge Torres to issue an injunction against Ripple. God forbid they have such a successful business selling their asset that in and of itself is not a security. And they only were able to win on a technicality. But now the light shines down on the XRP ledger. And what's happening with our XRP ledger? We already have the AMM fix ready to roll. Our timeline is probably about 3 weeks to a month out. But remember that we're just beginning this bull run. And now everybody who's been in the crypto space is starting to find out that, oh, wait, XRP does have additional utility. It does have NFTs. It does have an AMM. It is going to have a cross-chain bridge. Who was the first bridge? Who cares? Now we have Corium, got their bridge, and we've already have 300,000 XRP that's been locked up in that bridge. And I've been talking about this, guys. The amount of XRP that's going to be available strictly for liquidity is only going to be so much. You got XRP that's now being locked up into Corium, into a bridge that's for smart contracts over on Corium. That's not available liquidity for cross-border payments that's part of Ripple's business. That's part of liquidity flowing through the DEX. That's XRP that's being locked up. That's supply being locked up. And that's one bridge. What's Acceler Network trying to do? Bridge us over to 60 plus networks. Are you kidding me? 60 plus networks just to get started. And we already have the EVM sidechain that's being built out by Piersist, right? That's going to be going live after XLS 38D gets passed. So guys, full interoperability, full utility. You don't need to have smart contracts on the XRP ledger. You don't need to have native hooks. This is going to be proven for the whole world to see. Peaky showing up tonight. My brother, are you kidding me? Another 50 spot. Huge shout out to 50 Cent. Have you been seeing 50 Cent's tweets lately? Sorry, that made me think of, he's been wilding out. He's been calling out Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, all that stuff. I don't get into any of that stuff, but that just made me think of that. Let's have a Deaton donation stream all start. XRP. Man, that's the thing, guys. So I've added, you don't need to give me a super chat, guys. I put Deaton's link down below. I've now permanently put it in all of my videos going forward. You know, before you consider supporting my cause and you know, signing up on Patreon, joining our Discord group, using my community resources, I appreciate you guys for doing so. They are there to benefit you guys. But before you do that, I've put into the description of all these videos the link for Deaton for Senate. And so, yeah, you guys can go pay in crypto. You guys can go support John Deaton. And I'm here to play my part and to encourage everyone. He's looking to close. He has a goal that ends here at the end of this month, the end of the first quarter. And so, Peaky, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you so much for the support. And 100%, guys, this is, like I've been saying, so much bigger than XRP. This is so much bigger than crypto. And now the adults in the room are going to finally get their time, where the little kids get pushed out of the way for the adults to come in. And God bless the kids. You know, some people still call me a kid, even though I am feeling a little bit older now in my most recent days. But relatively speaking, you know, even the young bucks, you know, that are starting to understand that we've been lied to. Yeah, the millennial generation that I'm part of, right, starting to wake up and realize, oh crap, we were fed a lie. We were trapped into student loan debt. We were trapped into becoming a first-time home buyer, and now we're locked in, right? And so this is a moment for everyone in our community to remember that this fight is something that we are winning, and together we are going to finish this war. Not just win a few battles here, we are going to finish this war and succeed in destroying this evil. That's what we're doing. This is so much bigger than, hey, I want to make a little money on crypto. If we want a future for our children, this is where it starts. There's many people that suggested that we just bend over and take it. Just turn around. No, you know, you sit down and shut up, you crazy conspiracy theorist, lunatic, whack jobs. You know, I pause there for a moment and I just think about everything that we were called crazy conspiracy theorists for. Talking about these elites that are all being exposed now. That deal with Diddy isn't one that you want to take. Might look attractive at first. They roll out the Lambo, they roll out the models, they roll out everything. You think, oh, wow, I've made it. Until they show you what the deal really involves. And I highlight that because this is all part of the show before us, right? This grand illusion, right? All this, you know, with the Nickelodeon, all this stuff coming out, and folks realize, wow, my whole childhood was a lie. Yeah. And for those of you guys that have taken, people call it the red pill, the clear pill, all that, right? It's hard to rewire. That's the most difficult part. That's why the religions want to get you while you're young, right? It's hard to rewire somebody who's ingrained in their old ways, who's been around, right? It's hard to get that type of change. And so this is something that many of us have gone through. And I just urge patience. Remember that we were once there too. For all these people that are waking up and realizing that, their childhood heroes aren't the people that they thought they were. Their favorite musician, their favorite singer, their favorite this, their favorite that. This idea of the American dream. Yeah, you were sold something, weren't you? Yeah, hey, the devil's in the details on that deal, isn't it? And this is what we're up against. I just want to say thank you for everyone who stopped by here tonight, who gave us the time, who gave us the opportunity to spread this message, to put up this resistance, and to help as many people as possible get onto the right side of this transfer. That's what it's about for me. Not only do we want to take the red pill, the clear pill, and we want to be, enlightened, but we also want to not just be able to talk about the crazy conspiracies. We actually want to be able to position ourselves to take advantage of it. And that's done through our investments. That's done through our business. That's done through our preparations. As I started out this episode, I don't need to know the exact date. I don't need to know the exact hour or day. I don't need to know the exact event. God willing, you don't get caught up in the next event that they have planned for us. But the idea is that you're prepared for no matter what hits, whether the hurricane comes through, whether the a weather event happens, whether the train gets derailed or the ship hits the bridge. We have a war going on right now too. And I'm about halfway through that most recent series about, what is it called? Putin and the bomb or whatever it is. Big NATO propaganda, big Western propaganda piece. It's a good history though. It's a good history lesson. Strong slant towards the West and NATO, and a nice little Netflix documentary for the peasants to get behind the war. Perfect timing, huh? Kind of like that movie that we got a few months ago that was showing us Leave the World Behind, huh? It's all part of the ritual, folks. They put it before you before they execute. And let's get prepared. Let's call it out. We know the deal, and we're getting ourselves ready, and we're getting the deal done. And we're going to profit off this handsomely while we save our country, while we save our family, and while we save humanity and free us from the grips of these tyrants and these evil entities, these agendas. These people are sick. I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by here. I'm going to wrap up this session. We're going to have more content dropping tomorrow. And like I said, all of my community resources are available at my website, zachrector.com. Whether you're looking to get precious metals, we got great affiliates for precious metals. Whether you're looking to roll over a 401k retirement account or you want to get the metal shipped directly to you, we can accommodate both those. So talk to our professionals. They'll get in touch with you. The other thing that we have is exchanges, wallets, and if you want to join our private exclusive community, that's through Patreon to get access to Discord. We would love to have you in there as well. We talk on a weekly basis. On Saturdays, we do our Discord weekly call at 11:30 a.m. every Saturday. We're talking business. We're talking real estate. We talk precious metals, prepping. We talk spiritual. We get on. We have hangouts. We have classes. And we got a whole lot more coming that way as far as how to access the AMM, how to, actually, utilize the decentralized exchange that's built into the XRP ledger and other blockchains, right? Now's the time to build out these skills, build out these relationships. And so we got knowledge and value that's being dropped over there 24/7, 365. We have channels ranging all the way from general chat, breaking news, war room, all the way into, we have a health channel. We have prepping. We have precious metals. We have real estate. We have business development. We've been putting it all over there and trying to bring the most amount of value to our community. So if you're looking to get in touch, if you have any questions about that, just go to my website, zachrector.com. I also need to put out the warning. The scammers are coming in hot and heavy these days. So please understand, I'm not going to send you a direct message. I'm not going to reach out to you. Okay. I reach out to you on these platforms, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, every single day. And if you want to reach out to me and you want to get in contact, the only place to do so is through my website, zachrector.com. Please stay safe out there. The scammers are coming for us. They want the XRP community. They know what we have, and we know what we hold. I appreciate all of you guys. We are just getting started, and the best is yet to come. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much.